Hey everybody, happy February. Valentine's Day is coming up soon. We are going to be learning about an artist this week whose name is Chris Uphues. And he is a street artist. He lives in Brooklyn, New York, and he paints a lot of murals and buildings. And he uses a lot of, he likes his art to be very happy and silly. So I hope that you watched the video about him that was on the slide. If you haven't, then go ahead and pause this and go and watch that so you can learn a little bit about Chris Uphues. We're going to be making a project this week that is inspired by his work. We're going to be making Chris Uphues hearts. All right, let's get started. All right, so the first thing that we need to do is practice making hearts. So, where's my Sharpie? I'm going to be using a Sharpie if I can find one. There we go. Okay, so hearts are actually super easy to make. If you just take your pencil or whatever you're writing with and you make two curved lines just like that. And then you bring them down to a point. So once again, there you go. So I want you to practice making hearts. Make some big, make some small, make some medium-sized. And if you have a better way of making a heart, then go for it. This is just one way that you can make a heart. I sometimes just go like that. So just take a sheet of paper and practice making different sizes of hearts. Okay, once you are feeling pretty confident in your heart drawing, I want you to take a piece of paper. And I would do it in pencil first if I were you. And I think I may do mine in pencil first too. And I want you to draw 5 hearts. Well, no fewer than 5 hearts. So 5 or more hearts on your paper. And I want you to think about where you're placing your hearts. See, I just drew that one a different way. Try and make maybe 1 heart overlapping. You don't want to have too many overlapping because then it gets a little tricky because we're going to be putting faces on our hearts like Chris Uphues does with his. All right, I'm going to make an overlapping one right here. Okay, so this heart is behind this one. See how I jumped over that line? Because this heart is blocking that heart. And that's a little lopsided, so I'm going to fix that. That's why I like to do mine in pencil first. There we go. All right, let's do... You want to make sure that your paper is kind of balanced. You don't want to have all of your hearts on one side and not a lot on the other. You want to keep it balanced. You want a good composition. That's the way that you lay out your artwork. All right, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to do a few more. I think I need something down here. Whoops. It's overlapping a little bit. And then maybe another little one up here. Oh, my pencil is running out of my I'm going to grab another. Okay, this one I'll do. All right, I think that's good, and I can always add some more later. Now I'm going to take my Sharpie and I'm going to go over my pencil lines with my Sharpie. After we're done doing this is when the fun part really starts. We're going to make all these fun faces on our hearts, just like Chris Uphues. All right, so let me show you. This is a sheet that has lots of examples of different mouths and different eyes that you can use on your hearts. And unfortunately, I can't fit the whole thing. Here, I'm going to do this. Maybe if I turn it like this, and then you could do a screenshot. There, I'll leave it like that for a second. Okay, so the whole thing fits on there. All right, I'm going to set this to the side, and then I'm going to pick different faces to put on each of my hearts. Now, you don't have to use these. If you have your own ideas, then feel free to do whatever you want on yours. But I'm going to look at some of these. And you want the faces to be, the features to be pretty large inside of each heart. So for the noses, let's see, I'm going to do that mouth. One of the things that all of the hearts in Chris Uphues' artwork have in common is that their noses are just like these little tiny curve lines. So I'm going to do that for the noses on all of my hearts. All right, let's do another one. Let's see. I'm going to make this one have her eyes closed. All right, I'm going to go ahead and finish up doing all of the faces, and then I will come back in just a second. All right, so I've made all of my faces on my hearts. Now I'm going to take my eraser, and I'm going to erase as much as I can any of the pencil lines that you can still see. Chris Uphues really liked to make art that made people happy. So all of his faces are happy faces of some sort, or silly faces. This is not the best eraser for this paper, I just realized. So anyway, okay. I could have done a better job erasing, but I don't have a good eraser. I guess that's good enough. Okay, now I'm going to teach you guys a little magic trick. Not really, but it's actually a really cool way of painting. It's painting with markers. So what you do is, and I've noticed that some markers were better than others. The Mr. Sketch markers do not work for this, but Crayola markers do. These are the only ones that I have at home, are the thin ones, but the thick ones work just as well. So I'm going to take my marker and I'm going to make a thick line going around the edges on the inside of my hearts. I'm just going to do one color for each heart. Not the same color. If I want to do the same color, I can. I think I'll do two of each color. So I'll do two pink. I think I'm going to stick with warm colors for my hearts. Maybe some red. Okay, I'm going to show you what happens now. Okay, I also want to do... Okay, notice how I'm not coloring in the whole space. I'm just kind of making lines, because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my paintbrush and I am going, you know what, I probably need one that's a little bit thinner. Okay, here's one. I'm going to take my paintbrush, I'm putting water on it, and then I'm going to take the brush and move it along the marker. It takes just a second for it to start happening, but you'll see that the marker starts bleeding. And it is kind of like watercolor paint. You don't want to use too much water, but there you go. And then I can even do a little bit here for the eyes. All right, I'm going to do that on, oh, that one, that red is really looking nice. It's like watercolor, really. And then I wanted to do, let's make this one have green eyes. I think if you put the marker down and then pretty quickly add the water, that it bleeds a little bit better. Let's look at this one. Or maybe it's just that the pink is not quite as, doesn't bleed out as much as the other colors. Let's see. Let's try an orange. You want to have a thick line, so if you're using the thick markers, it'll be a little bit easier, and you can put the marker kind of on its side to create a thicker line. I'm just kind of coloring a little bit thicker lines with that. All right, let's see how this orange works. Ooh, that's nice. So you can remember this trick and use it in other art projects as well. It's actually pretty fun. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of these, and then I will be back in a second. All right, so here are all of my finished hearts. And now you can pretty much do the background however you want. I'm going to make my background using watercolor paints. So I'm going to kind of section it off, and I'm going to use only 2 colors per section. So let me show you. All right, let's see. I think for my first section, I'll do purple and maybe a blue. So I'm just going to make dots. With one color. And then I'm going to choose a second color. I'm going to keep my colors close to each other on the color wheel. So blue and violet are pretty close to each other on the color wheel. Otherwise, when you mix, if the colors mix, they can turn kind of muddy. So I try and choose analogous colors, or colors that are next to one another on the color wheel. All right, now I'm going to switch to another color combination. Let me do a green. I like this green. This is called sap green. All right, now the color I'm going to use with that green, let's see, what colors are next to green? Let's choose a yellow. And like I said, this is just one way of doing the background. You can choose to do your background however you want. All right, and then I'm gonna do another section. Let's do a pink. I just love this project. They're so cute. It makes me happy. Okay, and then let's see, next to pink on the color wheel, I'm gonna do kind of a red violet. And And then in the last section, and you can make as many sections as you want. Mine just kind of came out to be 4. I think maybe let's do orange. Oops. All right, and I'm kind of speeding through this just because I don't want to take up too much of your time. So, and I'm doing yellow to blend in with my orange because they are analogous colors, and I know that when they are mixed together that they're going to be pretty. All right, so there you go. There's your Chris Uphues heart project. I hope everybody, I guess I'll probably have one more lesson before Valentine's Day. So we may have another heart lesson. I don't know. All right, I hope you guys have fun with this, and I can't wait to see what you come up with. Don't forget to post your work on Google Classroom or Seesaw, and if you want to, also on Flipgrid. All right, bye.